Alrighty, folks. In video number one, we talked about 7 deals with the ones in Sacramento, the 4 deals in Sacramento going over asking, starting to shorten or wave conditions. The market is hot, hot, hot. But if you saw that video, Matt said rates are up significantly, a big jump this week. And you know what? That might be a good thing. So I want to hear, Matt, why is that a good thing?
I think that, it seems counterintuitive. And I recorded a video yesterday about how buyers shouldn't root for rates to go down. Because I've kind of
agreed.
Right. I've come to terms with this. And so if you're not rooting for rates to come down because it is going to be pouring gasoline on a fire, you're going to get a positive effect from rates going up. Now, let me explain. You're a first-time home buyer in Sacramento. You want to buy something at or around the median of 500 grand. It's listed for 470 and you're approved for 500,000. So goody, goody gumdrops. But you look at it and then your agent says, hey, I talked to the list side. They've got 14 offers and 12 of those 14 are at or above 520. You're not in the game. You're not in the game, right? And so if you take rates from 6 to 6.5, me and you have kind of followed this and I've seen it in practice with clients and you've studied some of the data. You get sub 5.5%, it goes bonkers, right? And you start going above 6, 6.5, it causes a cooling effect to demand, which is something the market needs. And so when I talked to a buyer, I had a buyer actually say this to me, Mike, and I was proud. And I said, you're 100% right. He goes, listen, and this was, God, when was this? It must have been, maybe it was back when, I don't know when it was, but rates were high. And he said, good. He said, right now, and maybe this was fourth quarter last year, right now, I can go out and find a deal. And if I find a deal, I know I'm not married to this mortgage. I know I'm not staying in it for 30 years. Nobody stays in their mortgage for 30 years.
Yeah.
Right. So this is a short-term contract between you and the bank that you can renegotiate and refinance when terms get better. They can never renegotiate it with you and make it worse. And so if you go out and pay $495 because rates have gone up to 6.5 or 6.75 and buyers are like, nope, not going to pay $495 for it. And down the road, you refinance, you're much better off than a 5.99, a 5.75, a 5.5, where one, you probably don't even get it. You're not even in the game. Or two, if you're lucky enough, you're paying 540, you're waiving the appraisal contingency. You're doing all the things that are unhealthy, right? And so higher rates is going to equate to a healthier housing market.
I couldn't agree more. I think we've talked about, I've certainly talked about it with some of my millionaire experts each week, that 5.5 is an interest rate that scares me, right? We have evidence now that rates go over 7, it slows down. We have evidence if they go sub 6, it picks up. But 5.5 is like the worst possible mortgage rate for housing because it will unlock huge demand and almost no supply. And that is not, we need time. We probably need years to kind of get through this cycle because the inventory is not coming. People are married. It's going to take multiple life events. It's and I think to echo that, John Burns Real Estate Consulting, another great follow on Twitter, just did a report, and they said that 5.5 is the worst rate possible for today's housing market.
Yeah, unfortunately, I agree, and I think that older, wiser Matt, the mortgage guy, in my 40s now, can admit when I'm wrong or misguided. Conversations that me and you have had where I've blindly rooted for lower interest rates because I want the affordability piece that comes with that, have now come to terms with higher for longer is a good thing, right? And so no matter what that feels like, when people are like, well, gosh, at my price point, at that rate, it's not comfortable. They don't really understand, if somebody could wave a magic wand, 4.9% interest rates, and you lived those 30 days of what would happen in real estate, you wouldn't like it. And you'd say, give me back 6.5.
No, I got to tell you, yeah, you would no, that would be bad. But the flip side of all this is builders are going to just clean up, because builders at 6.5, though certainly the big ones who have mortgage arms, all they got to do is do a rate buy down to 5.5 for 499. I think Pulte or DR Horton or somebody's doing this already. They're going to be able to sell stuff like hotcakes because they can, instead of taking a discount on price, they'll just eat, some margin to buy down the rate, and they're going to have no problem selling homes. I think it was Danielle DiMartino Booth who said the other day that home builders are up to 28% of the market, right? Where they're traditionally 10 or 11%. And she's absolutely right. Builders are crushing it right now. And they're in no rush. They're like, nope, we'll just slow roll these. We're good. We'll wait to get to the other side of this.
Yeah.
I think
what's interesting on that topic is I've got a buddy who does, the data analytics, and he shares info with me. I share info with him. And he was asking me, like, what's going on with Pulte Homes and PennyMac? Because, like, PennyMac has such a large portion of these Fannie Freddie coupons that are lower, like the 4.0 bonds. And I honestly didn't know. So I went to my capital markets folks and I said, what is this? And they just told me, they do permanent buy down at the coupon level with some of the large home builders, and Pulte is one of their largest customers for this. So you're 100% right. And so as a buyer, this is another interesting dynamic. And thankfully, I've got a business where I just serve people, I give them honest advice, and we do enough loans where nobody's hurting, right? Go out and negotiate a sweet deal with the builder. I'll be happy for you. I had a client that we've probably talked to for 6, 8, 9 months, and he felt bad. I'm looking at these new builds. Great. Go negotiate a great deal. If you don't work with us, maybe your cousin will. Maybe you'll do a refinance with us in 3 years. Oh, don't feel bad about it. Go out and get yourself a great deal.
Go get a deal. Yeah.
Exactly. If you need us, we're happy to help. GreatMortgageBroker.com. If you're going out negotiating your own deal, know that they're out there. And what's the harm in asking, right?
Exactly.
Go out there and, tour a Pulte home and say, you know what, like the payment at 5%, something I like, let's do that.
Yeah.
And they might make it work for you.
Yeah, no, they certainly will. They're actually right on their website. Go to pultehomes.com. I think it's only certain communities and all of that, but go get it. Again, your job is to get a great deal for you and your family. And if that's going to a new builder who's going to buy down the rate, so be it, right? So be it.
Yep. And if somebody buying a resale home and it's having a great lending team that's going to, go out there and champion you and help get your offer accepted amongst the 10, 12, 14 offers, that's something that I think is really valuable in these really competitive markets where I'm coaching the heck out of real estate agents. Make sure we're CC'd. Make sure I get the cell phone number for the list side as soon as you offer. I've got this new game I've been playing, Mike, where I want to reach out to them before they reach out to us.
Oh, nice.
And I want to tell them we've got a full file. And it's funny too, because the good agents on the list side, that's exactly what they're trying to do, is figure out, I've got all these offers, 3 or 4 of them are in the same range. The X factor is, what lender do I trust is going to get this deal closed? What lender do I trust did their due diligence up front, and this buyer is a true buyer that can execute on this contract? And I beat them to it. If you got a pre-approval letter from us, rest assured, sometimes to our detriment, and borrowers scream and cry. We ordered the VOE. We did all, it took a little bit longer to get pre-approved, but we have the batting average we have because we do diligence up front. And so that is something that, if you need that type of support, greatmortgagebroker.com.
Yeah, this is a competitive market. We've already been through it. If you want to have a mortgage broker that's going to increase your chances of winning because they are aggressive like that, you need to reach out to Matt, the mortgage guy. One more time, how do they do that?
Greatmortgagebroker.com.
Awesome, buddy. Thank you much. And congratulations to your Kings. You are up 2-0. And Draymond Green got his suspension, which is warranted. So we'll see what happens in game 3.
Yep. We'll see two games on your home court. Let's see what happens.
There you go, man.